Midlothian, hi, my name's Tim, and I'm here with Dannion McLendon. He is running for Place 5 City Council. He is running against our incumbent Hud Hartson, Wayne Shuffield, and Ronnie Morris. Right. So he has stepped forward to solicit your vote to lead the city, and he's graciously agreed to sit down and talk about some of the issues in the city. Danny, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Good deal, good deal. So just if you want to start, tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe tell us how long you've considered running for city council. I know you've had a previous run.
Correct.
So, just kind of tell us what uniquely qualifies you and a little about your history.
Oh, wow. So, you got that first part of trying to brag on myself, which I hate doing. But a little bit about myself. Dannion McLendon, originally from Memphis, Tennessee. Grew up in the military. Father's retired veteran. And I ended up going in the military back in 1989. Joined the Navy first. I did 10 years in the Navy. And then I switched over to the Air Force and did 17 years. 3 years in the reserves and 14 years on active duty. I was in the medical field for majority of my time. And when I retired, I was the Inspector General for Moody Air Force Base in Valdosta, Georgia. Some of the things that you asked was, what makes me qualify for this job? Well, I think a lot of it has to do with my military background. And I think many of us wear different hats, per se. So military background, being a minister, or ordained minister, working in the medical field, and then also being an educator. So I think I got a chance to wear a couple of different hats and working with trying to find out how to do this job, per se. And even going into this job, this is going to be something new if elected. So, but the thing is that with the 27 years of experience, I was a supervisor. I was a right-hand person for my commander in the medical group. Then I was also the right-hand man, the eyes and ears for the base commander. So I had to deal with all of the fraud, waste, and abuse, the abuse of a power, reprisal, those type things that we wanted to make sure that was not into our military. So I think those are the things that help qualify me. I dealt with budgets. I dealt with strategic planning, you name it. Military has pretty much qualified me in a lot of ways to handle this type of job.
Okay. Well, was there a catalyst maybe that that triggered you to choose now to run?
Well, it still goes back to 2022 when I ran the first time, and did my homework on some things. But I also had to remember that I'm here. I live here. This is Midlothian is my home, and I should be getting involved with things that are going on around in Midlothian because it's going to affect me. And one of the things that as I begin to teach more at Cedar Hill, I started realizing is that many times we're not teaching our youth about our local government. And so I had to start doing a little bit of research myself because this is the most important. We always think that the federal and the state elections are the most important, but really it's here. My property taxes, my roads, things of that nature. And I wanted to be a part of it. And so one of the things that kind of got me started was is that when I first got here, I kind of looked at our new fire department number 1. And I had to go back and do some research on it. And I shot myself in the foot, per se, and said that, thought that facility was too much. But when I did my homework, it was actually kind of right where it was supposed to be. And so instead of getting mad about things, it's like, why don't I get involved with it so I really know what's going on? And so that's part of the reason why I jumped back in to make sure that as I live here in Midlothian, that I'm being part of the city and not just part of the problem, but being part of the solution.
Okay, great, great. Yeah, that is a really nice looking firehouse we have out
Yeah,
there now. Yeah.
yeah.
So, if you are elected, what particular things do you have on, say, your short term to do list? And then what other things do you want to accomplish over the following years in your term?
So with the short term list, because 3 years is rather quickly, and I know a lot of times that when you're in a new job, depending on what type of job it is, it's going to take you about a year, year and a half to really get your foot wet, and some jobs can take up to 3 years. So my thing right now is unity, is that we, in order to get things done, we got to work together. I believe that our politics on the federal, state level, with a lot of the divisiveness, has trickled down into our local government. And so I want to be able to make sure that if I'm elected, that I'm one of those people that people are saying, no, he's trying to make sure that we are doing things correctly. We're working together. We're working with all the different officials of the city, the school board, police department, fire department, our city manager, and such. So I just want to make sure that I am able to kind of bring us all together and work in unity for our city.
Okay. Well, maybe in that light, in the light of unity, have there been any times, somewhat recently, that maybe the existing city council did something that you might have handled differently?
As we talk about those issues, mine probably the most recent one is the sanctuary city. Whether you agree with the ordinance or not, me personally, I thought it was just a bad ordinance. We've never had any confirmed abortions here in Midlothian, and we've never had a abortion clinic here in Midlothian. But when I looked at the numbers of the people who have come out and spoke for it or against it, it was the number of more people speaking against it than they were for it. And so I think for me is that giving the vote back to the residents, giving the vote back to the people is one of the things that I think is very valuable, because now we get to hear the voice and we're letting the city know, hey, we hear you. We're trying to make sure that we have the things that you want and that you hear the things that are affecting you.
Okay. So you would have chosen to, put that onto the ballot and let the people vote on it, as opposed to simply handling it within council. Okay.
Exactly.
And that makes sense. There was some advocating for that in the council as well. So, as far as the growth of Midlothian goes, I know nobody ever talks about growth of Midlothian, but what are your thoughts on the growth and how it's being handled?
I think we can. I think as a city, we've handled it the best we can. I wasn't here in the early 2000s, but I've heard certain things. And part of the reason I moved out here is because I didn't want to deal with the hustle and bustle of the big city, of the Metroplex. But my wife and I, we sit and laugh, and we're sitting there saying, you remember we could actually speed down 287 and wouldn't have to worry about anything. But now, because of so much traffic going through 287, you have to notice the growth. Now, I think that when we look at the growth is, the main thing that we need to be focusing on is, can our infrastructure deal with what's coming in? And I think we're doing a decent job with it, but I think we could do some things better. And then there are some things that I'm like, hey, I think Midlothian has done a great job with. So I think the biggest thing is just making sure that our infrastructure is able to handle the growth, such as, our first responders having everything that they need. Are we able to widen the roads in a timely manner? Those are things that just look at that, hoping that we could do better with and for our city.
Okay. Well, on that same note, you're aware of a new Weber development coming to town.
Yes.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think it's a good thing because as we're building houses, we got to have more businesses. We got to find ways to take some of the pressure and give some relief to our homeowners instead of overcharging, well, not overcharging, but taxing high in certain areas, whether it be property tax, local city taxes, whatever it may be. I think we have to find other ways to try to relieve. This is a beautiful place. We got some nice, beautiful homes. But I'm reminded of a young man that I was talking to at one of the fast food restaurants. And he was saying, you know, he's going to school, he's trying to make ends meet, he wants to live in Midlothian, and that he's trying to get into one of the lower income type apartments. And I think we end up hurting ourselves because we're putting all these big expensive homes in, but we don't think about those who are trying to make a living for themselves, who wants to do great things, and we kind of stifle and stagger them. And you know, just going back, if we go back and look over many of our lives, we all had to start somewhere, and we have to make sure that those that are coming behind us, especially our young people, they have an opportunity to be able to start somewhere and try to achieve a successful life.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts on the downtown development? We have a master plan out there, and you see the city hall being constructed. What do you think about what's going on there?
Well, here's the big thing: is Midlothian's growing, and so Midlothian has to change on certain things. I like what we're doing downtown. I love the new building, but are we making sure that even with downtown, are we putting the right things down there to, again, going back to the revenue, the income, all of that of the city? Are we making sure that we are hitting the right things? Are we being fiscally conservative? Are we being smart with what we're doing? And I think we are. What concerns me a little bit is as we build downtown and as we build Midlothian, will that again affect people around the area who might not be as financially capable to keep their homes and things of that nature here in Midlothian? I would like to see us be able to try to come up with plans to help keep people who might not be living in the $400,000 or $500,000 homes, to be able to help them with their property taxes, to help them be able to keep their homes.
Okay. So you may have seen that the Midlothian Police Department has been the subject of some recent news stories, especially on CBS.
Yes.
Have you seen those, or do you have any thoughts about those?
I saw the interview on CBS 11. First of all, for whatever happened, my sympathy goes out to the parent. Being a parent, you'd hate to see any child be hurt through something like this. But I also have to go at it from my last job in the military as the inspector general, is that I have to look at the report and make sure that things were done properly. Now, I know we had the gentleman that was on it who retired from the police, who did not complete the situation. To first of all go back to our police department, is I haven't seen any police department that was perfect. I haven't seen any organization that was perfect. So I think that when we are looking at this whole situation, is that we have to make sure that things are completed. Do I feel that this fell on the police chief, all that went on? Yes, because he's in charge. But I also understand that as a leader, you have people in position that are supposed to make sure things are get done as well. So after the reviews were done, I know there were certain things that were requested or shown to the police department on better practices, how we can streamline things to make sure things are done better and in a different manner. So I watching the news, I don't really think anything was done wrong, but I'm glad that there were things that were found that were brought to the police department for them to streamline and make better. Because once again, as our city's growing, we need to make sure that we have best practices in place to protect us and to make sure we have good safety here.
Okay, wonderful. So switching gears from that over to something else, we have some new hotels in various stages of being approved or working on being approved coming to town. Do you have any thoughts on those?
Well, somebody stole my idea. Okay, somebody stole my idea. I laugh about it all the time. I say I need to hit the $1 billion lottery because I have some ideas and some plans. And honestly, some hotels were one of the things that I thought were needed. Here recently, my sister came to visit, and we had to take her all the way to Mansfield for her to stay. Yes, we have a nice hotel in the courtyard, but we need to be able to have a couple more spots as the city's growing. That means more people are coming in. That means more family will be coming to visit, and it's not going to be good if we only have one hotel that's open. So I'm in agreement with the hotels, that the hotels are coming in. I just wish I would have put my bid in first. But I'm for it, and hopefully that we can, again, it goes back to that revenue side of making sure that as we're building rooftops, that we're bringing in the businesses as well to help sustain.
All right, wonderful. Well, Dannion, as we're wrapping up here, I just wanted to give you the opportunity to speak directly to the citizens of Midlothian and tell them whatever you'd like them to know regarding your campaign.
Well, thanks once again. Thank you for inviting me to the show. As I talk to the people of Midlothian, there are three things that I want you all to understand about me. Is that my platform is that unity. I've already spoke about it. Is that in order to get things done here in the city, we got to work together. Not just the city council, but our school board, our city officials, and even you. We need everybody to participate in what's going on in our city. Second thing is transformative government. I am big on transformative government. It's because as Midlothian is growing, we're getting people of different backgrounds, different jobs, different social status, socioeconomic status, and so on. As the city grows, we have to change the mindset about what we're doing here because we're representing a lot more people now, people from Tennessee, like myself, California, Chicago, wherever. But we have to be able to transform that into making sure that we are taking care of all the people. And then last is I want to give the vote back to you all. I just don't believe that 7 people should make all the decisions for this city. And sometimes I think that your voice needs to be heard. And so if I'm elected, I will try my best to do all those things that we're talking about, of unity, transformative government, giving the vote back to the people. And then last, I love Midlothian. As a person, I guess the best way of putting it is one thing that we always talked about in ministry is that you do what you do because you have a heart for it. And I have a heart for the people of Midlothian. I have a heart for Midlothian. And I just want to make sure that things are done to a level that makes Texas and all surrounding areas proud of or an example of what we should be.
Well, thanks. Midlothian, The election day for city council and school board is May 4th. Early voting starts April 22nd. I encourage you to learn everything you can about all the candidates. Cast your vote wisely for your choice, and remember to stay involved and care about your community. And above all, stay classy.